Point 1. Where active listening can take you. The concept of active listening may sound simple, but it can be challenging and technical. Unlike passive listening, active listening requires full awareness of the speaker's words, an active body and mind, and a responsive attitude. Active listening helps you understand the speaker's message and makes them feel heard. Active listening is a gateway to getting through to others by understanding their needs. You can build authentic relationships, handle complex situations, foster new possibilities, and strengthen connections with family members or colleagues. By honing this ability, you allow others to express their thoughts, opinions, and feelings. Perhaps you have experienced specific issues or misunderstandings when communicating digitally through text messages, social media posts, or work emails. Follow along and learn how to employ effective face-to-face communication to understand people's reactions better and convey your messages. You'll become an expert at noticing people's reactions, gestures, facial cues, and the degree of their engagement. These insights will help you determine when to speak up and when to listen, elevating your communication skills to new heights. Start your journey toward becoming an active listening expert today. Key point 2. Use critical thinking and reflection when necessary. Active listening is a combination of critical, reflective, and passive listening. Critical listening requires considerable energy, including interpreting the message while distinguishing between factual information and subjective opinions. Active listening involves analyzing and evaluating the speaker's message. For example, you use critical listening when gathering information, processing it, and forming an opinion. Typical scenarios include watching news reports or analyzing political speeches. On the other hand, reflective listening requires you to echo the speaker's words in your own words. It doesn't demand an evaluation of the speaker's words, but rather an acknowledgement that their message was heard and understood. Next, let's talk about passive listening. As the name implies, this form of listening doesn't require any action on your part. Unfortunately, passive listening is a common habit, and most individuals prefer to engage in passive listening and only wait for their chance to speak. Affirmative communication is a vital part of active listening. Without it, people may not feel understood or important. Nixley Leonardo, LCSW. Passive listening means lending an ear to the speaker without wanting to engage with the content, which can often be off-putting. Active listeners are the ideal people to have in your audience. They use their essential listening skills to interpret a message and judge the speaker's emotions and nonverbal cues. They also engage in reflective listening to help the speaker feel heard. Their silence from passive listening allows the speaker uninterrupted time to convey their message. As you've probably noticed, active listening is valuable in different personal and professional settings, making it a skill everyone should acquire. Key point 3. Enhance your workplace performance. No one is born a master of communication. The people who excel at it have learned at some point in life, so don't beat yourself up if you have trouble with it. Instead, embrace this summary as your head start for learning. Every good communicator has failed at some point. Improving your communication skills is essential and will save you from many personal and professional problems that people experience daily. Everybody has been in a position when they wanted to tell their boss, colleague, or partner something, but didn't know how. As a result, many people resort to keeping quiet in such situations, which further aggravate the issue. It's safe to say your life will be more enjoyable when you improve your communication skills. Active listening plays a crucial role in achieving this. Active listeners often have people confide in them, and their partners become more open to constructive criticism. Moreover, in the workplace, colleagues may be more willing to cooperate with someone who listens actively, and customers might favor them among their peers. So, it's worth noting that empathy is vital to becoming a good listener. Let's talk about that a bit. Nixley Leonardo defined empathy as the ability to sense another person's feelings and imagine what it's like to be in their position. An empathic person puts others first and acknowledges and understands their emotions. Without empathy, we only hear the words the other person says. We don't understand them, making us incapable of responding to their needs. Keep in mind that a question that might seem simple to you might not be so simple to someone else. Nixley Leonardo, LCSW. Key point 4.
You've hit a daily streak by completing 3 key points. Great job!
The correlation between communication and emotions. Active listening involves setting aside negative reactions and paying attention to what others say. And so, by sacrificing to improve the lives of others, you also improve your own life. When communicating with a determined person, active listening can make them feel heard and increase their receptiveness to listen. Active listening is effective in reaching out to a stubborn individual. Listening also makes giving constructive criticism to your colleagues and subordinates easier. Imagine a boss who always listens to everything you have to say. Through their actions, they show they're not just interested in getting results, but also in your professional growth and overall well-being. If such a boss offers constructive criticism of your work, you naturally feel they're on your side because they've proven so in the past. When people feel heard and understood, they're less likely to get angry with anything you do. Developing the ability to manage strong emotions during an argument is another benefit of active listening. You can use several communication techniques to achieve this, but we'll talk about the two most common ones: paraphrasing and nonverbal language. When you paraphrase, you assure the person that you grasped their message. Also, if you word it incorrectly, the speaker can correct you, and you'll understand better. Nonverbal communication includes all forms of conveying a message without words. A listener's use of physical gestures, facial expressions, and eye contact can make the speaker feel valued. In turn, when a speaker uses nonverbal cues, it strengthens the meaning of the message they want to convey. Paraphrasing and using nonverbal language strengthen the speaker's sense of being understood and connected, increasing their satisfaction. Did you know? A study conducted in 2007 by Professor Marianne Schmidt at Lausanne University, Switzerland, concluded that patients feel more satisfied when their doctors pay attention to their nonverbal cues. Key point 5. Eliminate your listening barriers. There are many reasons why people do not listen as much as they should. Identifying these reasons will increase your awareness and help you become more empathic. Authors Richard West and Lynn Turner categorize obstacles to effective listening into 4 distinct types of interference. External noise, stemming from environmental sounds like a door opening. Biological noise, resulting from health issues, physical impairments, or speech difficulties. Language noise, arising when understanding is hindered by a speaker's use of complex terminology or incorrect grammar. Mental and emotional noise, originating from psychological factors. All of the above can act as stressors, making it difficult to focus on conversations. Try to identify the ones that prevent you from communicating effectively. Ready to move forward? Great. Let's continue. To effectively engage someone who seems unfocused or has drifted off during a discussion, it is often necessary to address their emotional state first if there are no apparent external distractions. When addressing emotional needs, start by listening to them talk about themselves. It will enable them to clear their minds. Afterward, express genuine concern and interest through empathy and nonverbal signals. If you can't calm the physical noise around you, quieting the psychological noise won't matter. Technology is another common barrier to communication. Undoubtedly, technology has helped us stay in touch with distant friends and family, build businesses, and advance our lives. Yet, without being mindful, that same technology can distract us from making genuine and meaningful connections with others. We constantly use our phones to fill our free time when we should connect with others instead. It's much easier for most people to scroll through social media than it is to have an honest in-person interaction. If this sounds like you, consider reducing your phone usage and double down on in-person communications. Key point 6. Smoothen your communication. Each time we interact with people is an opportunity to boost or hurt our self-esteem, worldview, or interpersonal relationships. Therefore, we must never take our interactions for granted. We can improve our communication abilities by understanding ourselves better, knowing our biases, and handling emotions. Let's talk more about the following. Challenging your distortions. You must examine your automatic pessimistic beliefs and compare how they align with reality. Start identifying the things that make you feel bad about yourself, the distortions you may have of others, and your tendencies to act negatively. Then take practical steps to challenge your distortions by using preparatory empathy, acknowledging when you've reacted negatively, and involving your loved ones in your journey of self-improvement. Managing your expectations. While we all have expectations regarding those around us, we must learn to manage both our realistic and unrealistic ones to become better listeners. Practicing mindfulness. Mindfulness requires awareness of physiological and semantic noises and refusing to be affected. Practicing mindfulness can help you remain present and become a strong listener. It also helps us realize that no one is immune to negative emotions and stress. This non-judgmental attitude allows us to become better listeners. Building emotional self-regulation skills. Dealing with strong emotions can divert your thoughts and make you lose focus. However, you can avoid these effects by training yourself to be intentional when managing your feelings. In doing so, you can refuse to live a reactive life. It is not necessary to compromise your happiness to fulfill the emotional needs of others. Exercising physical and vocal awareness. We listen not just with the ears, but with the entire body, so it is necessary to have both physical and vocal awareness. Key point 7. Using the art of persuasion to your advantage. Persuasion is a powerful communication tool, and everybody can use it. There are many persuasion tactics that you can start implementing right away, such as giving others what they need. If you want people to give you their attention, you have to earn it. And it's quite simple. All you have to do is be the first to provide what you want to receive. For example, if you want people to be willing to see things your way, be the first to invest in understanding their perspective. Putting others' needs before yours will give them a sense of indebtedness toward you. In other words, they will look for ways to pay you back. Slowing down when you're moving too fast. When communicating, you can't leave anyone behind. Practicing motivational interviewing. Encourage interviewers and interviewees to prioritize potential solutions over dwelling on issues. Such conversations promote solidarity instead of tension. Exuding confidence. Confidence isn't about being a know-it-all. It's about recognizing that you're knowledgeable and capable yet open to learning and growth. Knowing the limits of empathy. You know you're reaching your empathy limit with a person when each interaction with them is leaving you drained. If this persists for a long time, consider reducing the attention you give them. Treating nonverbal cues as important. By being attuned to people's nonverbal signals, you ease them into sharing their feelings comfortably. If you make this practice second nature, you'll find that people naturally confide in you. The reason is simple. We all innately desire to be seen and heard, and many people don't feel their needs are being met. Imagine what happens when you come out as their savior. Catering to other people's needs often makes them more receptive to meeting your needs. Conclusion. Active listening is a way of listening that involves total concentration. By extension, it also requires active engagement with the message passed along and the person speaking. You can practice becoming a great listener by knowing your triggers, getting familiar with your tolerance level for various emotionally charged situations, identifying the types of noise that impede your ability to listen well. In addition, begin each conversation with an objective that can be anything from relaxing to negotiating a deal. Keeping a mental picture of that objective will enable you to listen and flow well with the other person. Also, remember that it's hard to communicate effectively when you're tired, hungry, or stressed out. Always avoid assumptions and distortions. When presumptions threaten to cloud your listening, confront your issues directly. Instead of suspecting the other of bad intentions, extend the benefit of the doubt, show understanding, and clearly state your needs. Lastly, learn to practice mirroring. It can happen subconsciously when you are entirely absorbed in what the person is saying. However, you can deliberately mirror to make the speaker feel a sense of connection and openness, even if the subject doesn't grip you. It is essential to be careful when mirroring someone's behavior, as the person might misinterpret it if you do it too often. If you're wondering, mirroring in communication refers to physically and behaviorally copying the speaker. Examples include maintaining eye contact and positioning your body like theirs. Try this. Practice active listening when you have a serious conversation with your spouse, friend, or someone at work. Listen carefully to what they're saying and pause to ask questions in between. Also, observe their emotions and body language as they speak. Practice this as often as possible, and you'll learn to become an active listener naturally.